One of my frustrations with the US is the extended childhood from 18 to 26. And I don't mean this in the young people are lazy kind of way. I mean this in that the US makes it really, really difficult to be independent and to be fully an adult during this 18 to 26-year-old period. And it starts when you're 18. Like, you can't really even start a career when you're 18. Maybe you can get a job, like a minimum wage job, to get some money, but you can't really start a career where you're going to have opportunities to grow and succeed and to pay for all the stuff that's necessary to be an adult. And this wasn't always the case. I mean, people used to be able to start jobs and be able to grow inside that business or start apprenticeships like that and start contributing when they're 18. But now you're pretty much pushed to either go to college or to trade school. And a lot of high schools, they don't really even talk about other opportunities besides college. So there's really a huge focus on college, whether or not you know that's what you want to do. And then to even afford college, a lot of people have to take out tens of thousands of dollars of debt. And this means that when you graduate, you're not really free to do the occupation that you think is most valuable. You're required to do jobs that can pay for your debt. And I think this means as a society, we're not really taking into the value and judgments of younger people. And it also means that people are a lot more conservative when they're young. Because they have to pay off all this debt, they're going to take more conservative jobs in like finance and law and consulting, which are important careers, but other careers are important as well. And we kind of concentrated a lot of talent in that area. And a lot of other kind of like social jobs, basically any sort of jobs that give you personal satisfaction, we kind of stigmatize and don't pay very well, like teaching or a lot of caregiving jobs. Now, kind of connected to that, in order to go to college, you have to fill out the FAFSA. And so this is the federal financial aid form. And there's pretty much no way that you can fill this out without your parents' income information. So if you're not that close with your parents or they're not going to support you, you still need their income information in order to do it. And your aid is going to be determined by their income, whether or not they're going to support you or not. So that makes it really difficult to be independent. There's not really a way to get out of that. And the only way is if you basically live alone for several years and are working and prove that you're independent. But at that point, you're missing out on the opportunity to get college done. So this fact that you're still treated as a family unit even after you're graduated and independent makes it really difficult to be treated as an adult. And then also healthcare. Most students can't afford to buy their own healthcare. If you're a full-time student, you're not necessarily having an income that you can even buy healthcare on your own. And we've sort of somewhat fixed this in the US by allowing parents to put their kids on their healthcare until they're 26, but that doesn't really fully fix it because first, not everyone's parents have healthcare. So if your parents aren't providing you healthcare, then you're just kind of out of luck. Second, that means that all of your healthcare is tied to your parents. So if you want to be independent, specifically like a lot of people's sexual and reproductive health, that kind of all goes through their parents' information. And so, if you come from a conservative family, you may not be able to get that same access because it has to get approved through their doctors and through their parents' insurance. And the fact that there's not an affordable option for 18-year-olds to get healthcare is just absolutely ridiculous. And again, it means that people have to be extremely conservative with risk-taking because if you get a major medical incident, then that can set you into crippling debt. So other countries definitely do this better than the US. Cars are another way that the US makes it really difficult to be independent as a young adult. Most US cities and suburbs are just designed for cars in mind. And if you don't have a car, you're pretty much stuck to the whims of poorly funded public transit, and it makes it really, really difficult to get around. And finally, housing. When you're 18, it's pretty much impossible to get housing by yourself. In fact, you probably have to get your parents to co-sign even if you want to get a rent on a property, which again is another way that you're not fully independent as 18. So the fact that you can't really start a career at 18, that you can't really start a career without taking a bunch of debt, that you can't really afford housing, that you can't really have access to healthcare, and that you're required to have a car just to get around, makes it really, really difficult for young people to be adults. And I think that the US is missing out on a lot of the richness and ideas and creativity of young people. Instead of allowing this period for people to take a lot of risks, we're now restraining them and basically making them be a lot more conservative with their risk taking. And this is really unfortunate because it means that we're missing out on a ton of really great ideas. Yes, if we have young people taking more risks, some of those risks aren't going to turn out to be great ideas. But some of those ideas, they're going to be some of the best ideas that we've ever had. And the amount of energy and enthusiasm that young people can bring to the table, it's just really frustrating that it just gets pushed back and not really respected with the rest of the conversation. And those are some of the things I would change about the U.S. if I could change them. So I don't know if you have any ideas of how we fix some of those things. Some of these problems exist in other countries. Some of them are improved to certain degrees in other countries. Living in the UK, definitely at least like the healthcare and student loans are kind of designed in a somewhat healthier manner, I would say. For example, in the UK, student loans, you pay them back depending on your income level. So if you're not earning anything, you don't have to pay anything, and after 20 years, they get forgiven. So you can still kind of choose the career that you want to choose after you graduate. Housing's still super expensive in the UK and in much of Europe, so not everything is fixed. Anyway, those are my thoughts, so thanks for watching. Bye.